Welcome, my dear students. I am Nabya Nihal, guest faculty in ITM University, Gwalior. Today, I am preparing a video lecture for BSc Agriculture third year, fifth semester students. The course code is BioChem BT 311 and the course title is Principles of Food Science and Nutrition. Today, I am going to prepare a video lecture of Unit 2 and the topic is the food composition and chemistry of vitamins. These are the basic outlines on which we are going to focus and discuss about in this PPT. So let's start with the first topic, first heading, that is the vitamins. What is vitamins? Vitamins are the organic nutrients that are essential for our body. It is discovered by the Hopkins and Funk. In 1906, Hopkins has introduced the term, which is a dietary factor. He ascribed that there is some lack of dietary factors that's the reason behind the disease such as the scurvy and rickets. After the discovery of dietary factors in 1912, Funk is collaborated with the Hopkins and suggested the vitamin theory. Funk isolated dietary factors from the rice polishing, which is the rice bran, which acted as anti-beriberi substances. He observed that the amine, which is an important factor, is necessary for our life. The amine is the nitrogen compound. Vitamins are the organic substances which is essential for the growth and maintenance of the animal organisms. Plants and microorganisms can produce vitamins themselves because they have that particular enzymes that can produce the vitamins inside their body. But human beings, because of the evolution, we lost that ability. It means that the enzymes that helps to produce the vitamins inside the body are lost just because of the evolution process. So we have to ingest vitamins through our diet, except vitamin D, as we all know that sunlight or the sun is the main source of the vitamin D, which is synthesized in our body. Vitamins are on the basis of their solubility. Vitamins are divided into two parts. First one is the fat soluble vitamins and the second one is the water soluble vitamin. As we all know that for fat soluble vitamins are insoluble in water, so these are the oily substances and readily insoluble in water, and water soluble vitamins are highly soluble in water. The difference between these two are that the fat soluble vitamins contains carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and the water soluble vitamins contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen plus nitrogen substances. And these are the example. In short, we call it as a ADIC, that is the vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K are the examples of fat soluble vitamins, in which vitamin A, E and K are the terpenoids and the vitamin D are the steroids. Whereas there are some examples of water soluble vitamins, all the B complex compounds are the vitamin are come under the water soluble vitamins, and the B complex consists of the vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B6, vitamin B12 and the vitamin C, which is also called as the ascorbic acid. Apart from that, all of these are not considered in the vitamins, but they are essential for our body, such as niacin, folic acid, biotin, pantothenic acid and choline. They are stored, fat solubles are the stored in the body, such as in our liver, whereas water solubles are stored in very less amount in our body and they stored in the cells. These are the history of fat soluble vitamins. Like in this PPT, we have to remember or learn the chemical name of the vitamins. Like vitamin A, the chemical name of vitamin A is the retinol. It was discovered in the 1930 by McCollum and the Davis. The chemical name of vitamin D is calciferol and discovered in 1922 by McCollum. Vitamin E chemical name is tocopherol. It was discovered in 1922 by Evans. Phyloquinine are the chemical name of vitamin K and discovered in 1929 by the Carl Peter Dam. These are some history of water soluble vitamins. Vitamin B1 chemical name is thiamine and discovered in 1897 by the Isaac Mann. Vitamin B2 riboflavin chemical name discovered in 1922 and the discoverer name are unknown. Vitamin B3 chemical name is niacin and discovered in 1936 and the discoverer name is Alvin Gem. Vitamin B5 chemical name is pantothenic acid discovered in 1931, discovered by the two scientists Williams and Truesdale. Vitamin B6 chemical name is pyridoxine discovered in 1934 and discovered by the Paul Garogil, and the Paul Garogil are discovered the vitamin B7 and the chemical name of vitamin B7 is biotin and discovered in the 1931. Vitamin B9 chemical name is the folic acid discovered in 1941 and discovered by the Mitchell, and vitamin B12 cobalamin and discovered in the 1926, discovered by the Whipple, and there are three more scientists who are involved in the discovery of vitamin B12. Vitamin C, as we all know that chemical name of vitamin C is the ascorbic acid and the discovery was done in the 1922-28 and discovered by the Georgi. Choline, as I have already said that choline are not considered as a vitamin but it is essential for our body. So the researchers and the scientists make a choline column in the vitamins and there is no chemical name of choline. It is discovered in the 1862 by the Adolf Strecker. So in this slide I am going to discuss about the vitamins, their sources and their functions. So let's start the first example of the fat soluble vitamins, that is the vitamin K. So they are the vitamin K is also known as the is we can also use the term retinol and carotenoids for the vitamin A. Vitamin A plays important role in vision, growth, skin, genes and immune system. Basically there are three different forms of vitamin A that are active in our body. First one is the retinol, second is retinal, and the third is the retinoic acid. All these three forms are called as the retinoids. These are the basic sources. Retinol found in liver, egg yolk, butter, whole milk and cheese, and the carotenoids are found in the green leafy vegetables, watermelon or muskmelon we can say, and the mangoes. And these are the functions of different forms of three different forms of vitamin A. Like retinol supports the reproduction and transport vitamins. Retinal active in vision and intermediate in the conversion of retinol to retinoic acid. Matlab, it means that retinal is the intermediate link between the conversion of retinol and retinoic acid. Last one is the retinoic acid. It acts like a hormone and it can regulate the cell differentiation, growth and embryonic development. Animal derived fruits are easily absorbed and digestible. It means that the vitamin A, if we consume vitamin A from the animal derived foods, then it will be easily absorbed by our body and easily digestible. But the foods that are derived from plants provide carotenoids, and our body can convert beta carotene, alpha carotene into the vitamin A. About 90% of vitamin A are stored in the liver. Next is the vitamin D. Chemical name is calciferol, and these are the main source. As we all know that vitamin D best source is the sunlight. Apart from sunlight, oily fish, egg yolk, beef and mushrooms are the highly enriched with the vitamin D. Apart from this, the main role of vitamin D is to facilitate the absorption of carbon and phosphorus. So if the vitamin D is deficient, then the body will deficient calcium, and there are the different organs that play different roles in our body. Like intestine, it involved in absorption of calcium and phosphorus, and the bone absorption of calcium and phosphorus, and helps to grow the bone more denser and more stronger, and it absorbs and deposit the minerals. Vitamin E alpha tocopherol is the chemical name, and the source of vitamin E is dairy products, eggs, vegetable oils, green leafy vegetables, and fruits. What is the function? It will protect the cell membrane, proteins, and DNA from oxidation, and it prevents oxidation of the polyunsaturated fatty acids and lipids in the cells. Vitamin K chemical name is the phylloquinin and menaquinin. Phylloquinin, we take phylloquinin vitamin K from the green vegetables and the vegetable oils such as the olive oil and sunflower oil, whereas the menaquinins are present in the fermented foods. So we can take it from the fermented foods, and these are the functions like it can activate the proteins and participates in the metabolisms of the bone proteins. Now vitamin B1, it is the first example of the water soluble vitamins. So vitamin B1, and the chemical name is the thiamine. Sources are the fish, meat, whole grain cereals, leafy green vegetables, especially spinach, eggplant, fruits, legumes, nuts, soy milk, and the brewer's yeast. What is the function of vitamin B1? As we all know that thiamine is a sulfur containing vitamin. So because of the containing of the sulfur, it helps in the participates in the energy metabolism and convert carbohydrate, lipids and proteins into the energy form, and also participates in the nerves and muscle activity. Chemical name of vitamin B2 is the riboflavin, and the sources is the eggs, meat, milk, whole grain cereals, dark green leafy vegetables, and the brewer's yeast. Same as the vitamin B1. Sources are same, but functions are different. Like it participates in the oxidation reduction reaction and stimulates the growth and reproduction and plays a role in the vision. Next one is the vitamin B3. Vitamin B3, niacin. These are the two forms of the niacin: niacinamide and nicotinic acid. And the sources of niacin or the vitamin B3 is fish, meat, milk, eggs, whole grain cereals, legumes, fruits, and nuts. In fruits, especially avocados, fig, and dates are the highly enriched source of vitamin B3. And the functions of vitamin B3 is it protects against the neurological degeneration. In this, niacin acts as a coenzyme in energy, and it transfers reactions. It acts as a coenzyme and involved in the energy transfer reaction, and it is especially take part in the metabolisms of metabolic activity of glucose, fat, and alcohol. Vitamin B5 pantothenic acid is the chemical name, and the source is the meat, egg yolk, milk, fish, whole grain cereals, potatoes, tomatoes, broccoli, and mushrooms. And the function is the it participates in the synthesis of lipids, in the neurotransmitters, steroid hormones, and hemoglobin, and it maintain and repair the tissues cells of the skin and hair, and helps in the healing of wounds and lesions. Lesions means the wound. Next is the vitamin B6, and the chemical name is the pyridoxine. Sources is the chicken, fish, nuts, chickpeas, maize, and the whole grain cereals, vegetables, bananas, and potatoes. In fish, especially salmon and the tuna fish are the highly enriched with the vitamin B6, and in nuts, walnut are the highly enriched walnuts and the peanuts. And apart from these, starchy vegetables are also important source of the vitamin B6. And the function is it helps in the biological reactions means in the amino acid metabolism, and participate in the synthesis of neurotransmitters. RBC formation means the red blood cell formation, participates in the synthesis of heme compound in hemoglobin, as I have told in the minerals that hemoglobin are made up of the heme iron. So the vitamin B6 are very plays very important role in the synthesis of that. Nucleic acid in DNA, synthesis in the nucleic acid in DNA, and fatty compounds like the phospholipids that provides structures to our cells. Vitamin B7, and the chemical name is the biotin, or we can also say it as the vitamin H. And the source is the eggs, milk, vegetables, cereals, nuts, liver, kidney, yeast, and soybeans. The functions of vitamin C. It takes part in the breakdown of the food into the energy. So what they break? They break the basically the carbohydrates, fats, and proteins that are present in the food, and them into the smaller pieces, and make the energy. Cellular reactions mainly in fats and protein metabolisms of hair, roots, fingernails, and skin. Vitamin B9, chemical name is the folate, and the sources is the vegetables, beans, lentils, yeast, peanuts, oranges, and strawberries. So here the folate. Means folic acid is the most stable form of the folate. So folate is essential for the brain development and function. The main function of the folate is the essential for brain development and their functions, and it helps in the synthesis of DNA, and repairment of the DNA, and metabolic activity in energy and amino acid. Next is the vitamin B12. Chemical name is cobalamin. Cobalamin is because the cobalt are present in the structure of the vitamin B12, and the sources is the shellfish, liver, milk, and the milk products. The function of vitamin B12, it helps in the metabolic activity of the fatty acids and the amino acids, and it also plays very important role in the production of the neurotransmitters. Vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and the sources is the fruits, cabbage, green leafy vegetables, tomatoes, potatoes, and the liver of ox or calf, and it acts as an antioxidant or as a cofactor. It participates in the synthesis of collagen, absorption of iron, free radical scavenging, and defense against infections and inflammations. Choline, the main source, it is not considered in the vitamin, and the main source of choline is the milk, eggs, and peanuts. It acts as a methyl donor, regulates the metabolic pathway of fats and cholesterol, and take a part in the cell signaling, neurotransmission, and the gene expression. In this slide, I am going to discuss about the what happen if we take excess amount of vitamins, and what happen if there is an deficiency. because of the less consumption of vitamins. So first one is the vitamin A. The inadequate intake, if we take a less amount of vitamin A, then the people has to suffer from the zero xeropalthemia and the keratomalacia. What happens in the xeropalthemia? Xeropalthemia is also known as the xerosis. The main cause of the blindness in childhood is just because of the xeropalthia. Nowadays, it is found this health problem are still found in the Dhaka, Jakarta, and Hong Kong. What happened in this case? The main characterized of xeropalthemia is by drying of the eyes, and there is a lacrimal glands that can cease the production of the tears, and this makes the external surface dry and dull, and the eyelids will swell and become sticky. If it will left untreated, then the people will suffer from the blindness. Next is the keratomalacia. If we break this word keratomalacia, kerato means the hair and malacia means the softness. It is a corneal disease occurring maximally a preschool students or a children of 3 to 4 years, and the main symptoms of this disease is the diarrhea or infections. And there is one more disease that occurred because of the deficiency of the or inadequate intake of the vitamins, and that is the phynoderma, which is a skin lesion. Skin lesion, or we can say the skin wound. And what happen if we take excess amount of vitamin A? Then this is the deficiency, hypervitaminosis A. This will occur. Next one is the vitamin D. As we all know that rickets are the very most common example of the deficiency of the vitamin D, and there is one more example deficiency that is called as the osteomalacia. So what happened in the rickets? In rickets, rickets is the disease which related to the bones. In this, the bones were twist, and just because of the deposition of inorganic materials on the matrix of the bones. It occurs usually at the age of below the age of 3 months child. And next is the osteomalacia. Osteo means the bone, as I told you before that malacia means the softness. This happens just because of the action of bones, essentially like that in the rickets. The bones become softer, and the concentration of calcium and phosphorus are disbalanced. In this, the loss of calcium is greater than that of the phosphorus, so the disease will occur. And the loss of calcium and the phosphorus, there is a relative gain in the magnesium content. So these osteomalacia will occur in the human body, and if we consume vitamin D, then there is no adverse effects in our body. Vitamin E, muscular dystrophy. Muscular dystrophy basically found in the rabbits and the guinea pigs, and the second example is the encephalomalacia. Encephalomalacia, it is found in the young chicks. What happened in the encephalomalacia? The young chicks exhibits the capillary damage, And in the muscular dystrophy, there is an atrophy of the muscle fibers and ultimately results in the proteinuria. And there is no adverse effects of excess consumption of the vitamin E. Vitamin K hemorrhage infants. Vitamin K is also known as the blood clotting vitamins. It helps in the blood clotting. And what happen in the hemorrhage? There is continuously loss of blood clotting power. If the people are suffering from the vitamin K, then what happen, their blood are not clot easily, and there is a regular loss of the blood in an accident case. So this is basically found in the observed in the infants that they show signs of vitamin K deficiency. And the next is the, so here I mentioned that hemorrhage is basically in infants. There is no adverse effects of vitamin K. Vitamin B1, a very common example, is the beriberi. And there is no adverse effects of excess consumption of this vitamin. What happened in the beriberi? Beriberi is the basically weakness, and it is a very serious health problem that is found in the Far East, where polished or refined rice was is still eaten. And the problem is aggravated if the rice is polished. The husk contains nearly all the thiamine of rice. And beriberi is occasionally seen in the alcoholics who are severely malnourished. The symptoms of the beriberi is the fatigue, irritability, depression, drowsiness, anorexia. Anorexia means the loss of appetite. Insomnia. Insomnia is a sleeplessness, nausea, and abdominal discomfort. These are the basic symptoms through which we can detect that the person are suffering from the beriberi. And there is no adverse effect. Vitamin B2. And what happen if we take less amount of vitamin B2 or the deficiency? Dermatitis and corneal vascularizations, and there is no adverse effects of the excess intake. So in the corneal vascularization, it means that there is a bloodshot eyes. Next is the vitamin B3, and the deficiency cause the adrenal cortical insufficiency. And there is no, there is a, if we consume it excess, then there is the blurred vision. Vitamin B, pellagra, and there is no adverse effects. Vitamin B6 and vitamin B12, anemia in infants, and there is no adverse effects. As I already said in the previous slide, that vitamin B6 are responsible for the formation of the heme group of the of in the hemoglobin. So if a person is, if especially infants, human infants, if human infants are suffering from the deficiency of the vitamin B6, then the infants are suffered from the anemia disease. Vitamin B9 and the disease are the megaloblastic anemia. And there is no adverse effects. What happened in the megaloblastic anemia? it leads to the it is the same as the anemia. And the last one is the vitamin C. As we all know that scurvy is the deficiency that is caused by the less consumption of the vitamin C, and there is no adverse effects. And choline, anorexia, basically anorexia found in the puppies, and liver toxicity if we consume it in high ratio. This is the exercise. I hope you will do it. What is the importance of vitamins for our body growth and development? So in this you have to write the important role or the functions through which our body that will helps for the growth and the development of our body. This is the learning outcomes. I hope you will understand, and this is the students will understand the basic role of the vitamins in the developments, and this is the references. Thank you.